Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel and welcome to another Pokemon XY anime discussion. Today we're going to talk about, it's going to be partially a review of the gym battle versus Ash versus Clemont, but it won't be your traditional review. It'll actually be a intensive analysis of the gym battle, and that's what this particular video is out. I'm going to leave this just there. There is some new information about the Gudra episodes coming up after the Goodbye or Garchomp episode. Goodbye. The Garchomp episode that's coming out, but I'm going to just leave those for now. We're just going to talk about the gym battle. Also, I realized that a lot of my videos in the past have been about Gudra, but I guess that's primarily because it's most likely going to be released, and I'm not really happy about that. So I don't know. But anyway, so I'm just gonna try to limit my discussion of Gudra, except as it's relevant to the gym battle. So welcome to a comprehensive analysis, I guess you could say, or an intense analysis of the gym battle between Ash versus Clemont. So first off, let's go off with a quick synopsis. Let's see. It started off with the introductions of the gym battle. Then Clemont uses Bunnelby. I think Ash was shocked, if I'm not mistaken, because he wasn't expecting Bunnelby to actually appear. Then we get I don't know if it happened before or after they sent out their Pokemon, but Serena purposely sends out breaks in and Pancham, and Chespin's there, so is Dedenne, to watch the gym battle. Then their Pokemon are sent out. Clemont sends out Pikachu. No, wait, no, sorry, I got distracted by a cat. Sorry, Clemont sends out Pikachu. And then Ash sends out Bunnelby. No, anyway, Clemont sends out Bunnelby, Ash sends out Pikachu. That darn cat. Oh, man. Anyway. So then the battle starts with the versus cranes. Ash, or not Ashes. There I go again, messing up as usual. Clemont's father joins in and wants Ash to do very well, or something, because he specifically talked to Ash or whatever. I don't speak Japanese, but that's the sense I got, since he said Satoshi and said something like words of encouragement that made Ash happy or whatever. Anyway, so then Citroid, or Clembot, sorry, the Japanese is Citroid, but Clembot is the referee for the gym battle. Then, like I said, we get the versus screen. Clembot already told the rules before they sent out their Pokemon. Then it was Pikachu versus Bunnelby. As expected, Pikachu did beat Bunnelby. Pikachu did beat Bunnelby. Okay, it won against Bunnelby. Pikachu knocked out Bunnelby. There we go. So then Pikachu was recalled when Clemont sent out Heliolisk. Wow, I'm having a hard day today. Whatever. Woo! Anyway, so then as Pikachu is recalled, that's when Ash sends out Gudra. And sort of as expected, but not quite as expected, Gudra is recalled in favor of Hawlucha. Now, I don't want to quite get into the intensive analysis of the gym battle, but it is interesting to note that it wasn't as a result of Dragon Tail that Gudra was recalled back. Ash actually recalled Gudra himself to send out Hawlucha. So anyway, so then it was Hawlucha versus Heliolisk. As predicted, Hawlucha did in fact beat Heliolisk. Hawlucha did knock out Heliolisk. Then it was Luxray, and pretty much as expected, Luxray knocked out Hawlucha, and in a happy moment that made me smile, Ash then sent out Pikachu, because that confirmed everything for me. That the writers were not as stupid as I thought they were going to be during this gym battle, as you saw in my pre-gym battle discussion, possibly a video before or a couple of videos before, depending on what's uploaded, since this video has been uploaded in that video. So then Pikachu is sent out, and surprisingly, Luxray takes out Pikachu, or knocks out Pikachu, and then Ash sends out Gudra, and then, of course, Gudra does win, and Ash gets his Voltage badge, and we get some information about Lavere City, I believe, where, that is where, Valerie is, if I'm not mistaken. It sounded like they said Anastar, but Anastar is Olympia's hometown, so I'm a little confused. So let me go to Lavere City here, because I know that's Valerie's gym. Lavere City, Kuno City. Okay, so maybe I just heard something weird. Anyway, yeah, maybe I heard what I wanted to hear. Anastar, Olympia already? No, but I'm pretty sure it's not the same name in Japanese. I think that's just the English name of it, so whatever you can do about that. So anyway, so that's pretty much the basic synopsis of the episode. Team Rocket were not in the episode, which was pretty good. I honestly would have to say, just due to the animation and the quick pace and how awesome things looked, I would have to say that this is probably one of my favorite gyms. The only reason why I might give Ramos a little bit more edge is because of Frogadier as well as Fletchender. I'm not saying that I hate Hawlucha or anything. I love that it beat Heliolisk in this gym battle, but I'm just saying that Frogadier kicked butt in that episode, and it was really fast and exciting, and Fletchender got a win, you know. It was really nice to see, you know. So, I mean, I can understand. And, well, you might think it was because of Hawlucha, but no. I mean, I didn't really like Hawlucha's loss, but at least it made up for it in this particular gym battle. So let's get right into the battle. Okay, so in regards to Pikachu and Bunnelby, I will be mentioning this frequently in this video, but there has been a lot of criticisms in regards to Ash's Pokemon. In regards to they couldn't have possibly have beat a Pokemon of Clemont's, or it was just too ridiculous. Clemont's Pokemon kept doing damage to Ash's Pokemon, and therefore the battles suffered as a result of that. But I don't agree in a lot of instances. I mean, I will say that I am disappointed how the gym battle finished, and I will discuss a little bit in depth of why Gudra is a little lacking, which is unfortunate because it's just going to get released, even if it does learn a new move in the Florges episode, which is not confirmed, but it's pretty much likely if it has any shot in heck to beat Florges, for example. But anyway, see, here's the thing. I can understand that Bunnelby, you know, used Wild Charge, and like I think Bunnelby can use Dizzy Punch. I think it was Dizzy Punch that it used. I don't think it was Double Slap, but yeah, let me look up Clemont's Bunnelby real quick, because I'm pretty sure it used Dizzy Punch. If Bunnelby can learn Dizzy Punch to begin with, Enema. I didn't want Enema, I wanted Anime. What? Oh, okay, I see what I did. I mixed the E and the A somehow. Enema! Just kidding. Okay, Bunnelby, oh, you're gonna be like that, aren't you? Yeah, had a feeling. I really had a feeling you were gonna do that. Yep. Nope, okay, it was just Double Slap. I thought it was Dizzy Punch because I thought it had Dizzy Punch's Japanese name, but it was just Double Slap. So, anyway. So, yeah, it used Double Slap, it used Wild Charge, and it used Dig, but here's the thing, and why I don't understand the criticisms of that particular battle. that resulted in Pikachu using Iron Tail when Bunnelby was digging underground, that forced Bunnelby out in the open to deal with powerful Iron Tail is, for one thing, even though Dig was the most powerful attack, it could be easy to understand why Pikachu is able to understand that, because Dig has never been that exciting of a ground type move within the anime, because Monferno constantly used Dig against Electabuzz and did some serious damage, and it didn't even win that battle against Paul's. So I can understand that electric Pokemon, they may take some severe damage as a result of Dig, but as far as I'm aware, no electric Pokemon has ever been knocked out as a result of Dig, unless it was unless it was supposed to be a weak Pokemon. But in a battle like this, Gym Battle versus Challenger, Ash versus Clemont, Dig has never been portrayed as that strong to begin with in regards to the anime that it would actually knock out Pikachu. Now, when Bunnelby actually did use Dig on Pikachu, where it was actually a good hit, and not just Bunnelby flying out and smacking Pikachu with its ears the first time, it did do some considerable damage, which makes sense for in the future battles. But anyway, as I'm saying, Pikachu beating Bunnelby actually made sense, because first off, the thing that I will repeat constantly in this video is the bias against Ash and his Pokemon is ridiculously high. Too damn high! Yeah, because where is this favoritism against Clemont coming from? Luxray was a beast. It took out Pikachu and Hawlucha, but I don't know where all of these sudden strengths of Bunnelby and Hawlucha or Heliolisk have come from, that you're like confused as to what's going on, and I'll get that in regards to Hawlucha versus Heliolisk. I'll discuss that a little bit more. So Pikachu beating Bunnelby actually makes sense, especially that very hard Iron Tail. Now, if I'm not mistaken, ground types actually resist Steel types, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least, well, no, maybe not. Maybe it's just ground types are super effective against Steel types. But just give me a moment here just to make sure. Hold on, well, they resist bug and grass. Oh, no, okay. They resist poison and rock. Okay, so no, they don't resist steel. So, well, even if that was the case, it still wouldn't matter anyway, because Bunnelby is pure normal, so it's not like Diggersby. So I don't even know why I did that, because it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But anyway. So, yeah, Pikachu using Iron Tail against Bunnelby and winning like that makes the most sense in the world, because Pikachu has been using Iron Tail a lot more than, say, Bunnelby has been shown within the anime. I mean, there have been gym battles within the XY anime where Pikachu has been using Iron Tail. So to think that Bunnelby could easily deflect Iron Tail is ridiculous. Now I realize that it didn't do very much damage, but remember, there is the damage that Bunnelby did take, anime-only damage that it took, as being rooted from the ground when Pikachu used that giant, massive Iron Tail. I mean, did you see what Iron Tail did to the ground? I mean, I can understand that the ground was weakened because Bunnelby was digging tunnels, and that might have weakened the structure, or the structural integrity of the ground, making it so that Pikachu's Iron Tail was impressive. But even so, that was still impressive that it was able to do that much damage. Pikachu using Iron Tail caused that much damage on the field that caused Bunnelby to go flying out of the ground. Now, that much damage the Iron Tail did to the ground and apply it to a Pokemon directly as it did, it makes sense that Pikachu lost. Or Bunnelby lost. Oh, there I go again. I'm stupid, not understanding what I'm saying. Anyway. Ooh, yeah. Okay, anyway. So then we get Pikachu recalled after Clemont sends out Heliolisk, which makes sense because I'm sure Ash wanted to save Pikachu for later. Then we have Goodra, and one thing I want to note right now is that Heliolisk was very fast. Very fast against Goodra. However, I don't want you to get all excited about this because there is one aspect that we need to address in the battle between Heliolisk and Hawlucha. But let's talk a little bit about the battle. Now, one of the criticisms within the gym battle is how it turned out and how ridiculous it may have been. Biased against Ash and his Pokemon, apparently. But anyway, the problem is Heliolisk could have beaten Goodra. If it was Goodra versus Heliolisk in battle, and it was not confirmed that Ash was going to win, and there was always a chance that he could actually lose, I feel like Goodra would have lost because, one, Goodra does not have hardly any moves, which is something that I will definitely address when we get to Luxray versus Goodra. But the problem is that Dragon Tail pretty much almost knocked out Goodra right there. When it used Dragon Tail, Goodra was... The cumulative damage that Luxray did against Goodra may have been over the damage that Heliolisk did with Dragon Tail, but for move, the move that did the most damage against Goodra noticeably was, in fact, Dragon Tail. And just to make it clear, even though I probably should wait this for the battle with Luxray, but the reason why Goodra was so tired at the end of the gym battle, and people suggesting that it was Luxray that did the most damage, was that Dragon Tail had already drastically reduced Goodra's stamina, so that, of course, Goodra would be struggling at the end with the Luxray. It could even be a Magikarp, and I'm sure Goodra would have some problems, especially if there was, like, Flail, Magikarp with 1 HP using Flail or whatever, so... Not really seeing the point in the criticisms in regards to that. So like I said earlier in the synopsis, Dragon Tail did not send Goodra back into its Pokeball, and Hawlucha was sent out. Ash actually recalled Goodra himself and sent out Hawlucha. Now, remember the speed thing that I mentioned earlier about how Heliolisk was running circles around Goodra? Well, here's the thing. People were actually criticizing that Hawlucha was actually outmaneuvering Heliolisk, and I'm like, well, first of all, Goodra was always a slow Pokemon to begin with, as mentioned in the actual episode that it actually evolved from. If you remember correctly, Tierno actually mentioned that Goodra was very tough despite being a slow Pokemon, so I can't honestly believe that the criticisms that Hawlucha got really super fast, when in fact we have never even seen Heliolisk being this fast, and the difference here is that it's against Goodra, which is definitely a slow Pokemon. Goodra is not fast by any means. It relies on its defensiveness to actually do anything. It tanks moves and then it deals damage. That has always been Goodra's point, so it's understandable that Heliolisk, a much faster Pokemon, would run circles around Goodra, but saying that Hawlucha's incredible speed against Heliolisk does not make any sense makes me question whether or not you're just simply being biased against Ash. There is one particular user on Cerebi forums that I'm not going to mention his username, but he is definitely biased against Ash. It's like nothing Ash can do or anything, no matter how the battle is written, he somehow still calls BS on, and it kind of annoys me. And this is one of those criticisms because he was like, I believe he was saying Heliolisk was so fast against Gudra, having Hawlucha out there and outmaneuvering Heliolisk doesn't make any sense. Well, first of all, if I'm not understanding my game stats correctly, Hawlucha, the species, is supposed to be faster than Heliolisk. You know, actually, let's look this up real quick. Because if I'm not mistaken, Hawlucha is technically a fast Pokemon, at least in regards to stats. It may not be the fastest, but it's definitely a fast Pokemon. So let's look up Hawlucha's speed stat real quick. Oh, it's a lot faster than I thought. Hawlucha's speed stat is 118. I thought it was like 95 or whatever. Heliolisk's speed stat is probably, oh, I don't know, maybe around 109. So that's pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie, that is fast, but definitely I can understand why Hawlucha would be a little bit faster. But even if we didn't take stats into consideration, and we took in consideration of the Pokemon themselves, well, then we run into even more problems, which makes it clear that the criticisms are just because people are just being biased against Ash's Pokemon. Because, for one, even if you could argue that Ash's Hawlucha was not a fast Pokemon, there are instances where I would actually have to disagree, and some other users have pointed out. However, one of the situations that they brought up is that would be Talonflame versus Hawlucha. Now, let's be perfectly clear. Hawlucha was out of its element. If you are out of your element, you are likely going to be slower than you usually are. If you are a flying bipedal Pokemon like Hawlucha, your fastest trait is going to be on the ground rather than the sky. In fact, I think there is a Pokedex entry out there for one Pokemon that said that it was a lot faster either on the ground or in the air as opposed to the opposite. So Hawlucha not faring very well against Talonflame makes absolute sense because it was out of its element. If it was a land battle, Hawlucha probably would have won. If Talonflame was not allowed to fly or do anything of that nature, I have a feeling Hawlucha would have won that battle simply because the ground is Hawlucha's battle prowess turf. It's going to excel really well on the ground as opposed to the air. So using that particular battle to say that Hawlucha is slow really doesn't make any sense to me because, of course, Talonflame would be able to outspeed Hawlucha by itself in the air, but it just makes sense because Hawlucha is not that much of an aerial Pokemon. If this was like, say, Ash's Talonflame versus a Fletchling, and this particular Fletchling outsped Ash's Talonflame, then maybe I can understand that the criticisms of Ash's Talonflame not being as fast, but that's not the case here. The case here is simple. Hawlucha was out of its element, and otherwise it's been pretty fast, you know? Like, let's take the gym battle of Krina. Some people will actually say that it was pretty slow, but the only reason why it was slow in that particular gym battle against Mienfoo, or Mindfoo, however you want to pronounce that Pokemon's name, is as a result of the dance strategy. However, let's look back to the gym battle against Ramos, and you'll see what I mean by Hawlucha has been pretty much a fast Pokemon. Even though Hawlucha did not fare well against Weepinbell, it still landed a very powerful flying press that was really quick. Now, one user in particular, a different user than the other user, that this particular user does not like Hawlucha, has said, well, what about in the first episode that it was captured? Why isn't flying press being considered in relation to Hawlucha's speed? I mean, because Halucha was incredibly slow when using Flying Press in its capture episode, and yet it can be easily countered that Halucha was being flashy and otherwise, which is why it didn't do very well. So now we fast forward to the gym battle with Ramos real quick. The thing you'll notice is that the first move that Ash told Halucha to use against Weeping Bell was in fact Flying Press. Now, usually you would think that Ramos would be like, Halucha, or Weeping Bell, get out of the way, but that was not the case. Halucha landed a very quick attack on Weeping Bell. And it took all of that damage, and it did some serious damage to Weeping Bell. Then later on, despite all the damage that Halucha had taken previously, Halucha still managed to pull out a high jump kick directly right into Weeping Bell, even though it resulted in a loss. So Halucha, from what we can see, has always been a pretty fast Pokemon, especially when you consider off-training. And it actually does exist because, well, I'm pretty sure the writers and executive producers don't want us to waste our time watching training. But the thing is, Halucha has been a fast Pokemon. So it makes sense that Halucha, within the gym battle against Clemont, will always have that advantage over Heliolisk in regards to speed, because not only is the species supposed to be faster than the Halucha, Halucha has been considered a very fast Pokemon for Ash in the first place. You know, I mean, and the criticisms that are biased against Ash makes me wonder, are you even considering Clemont at all in this factor? Since when has Heliolisk been regarded as a very fast Pokemon? In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the only real battles we've seen with Heliolisk has been against Bunnelby and against the Magneton. Both were controlled by Clemont, you know, and Bunnelby was pretty much faster than Heliolisk in that gym battle, and Heliolisk didn't seem like it was all that much fast against Magneton. Are you going to say that Magneton is faster than Halucha is? Really? I mean, Goodra maybe. I mean, Magneton has the advantage of being floaty and stuff. But anyway, even if that was the case, Heliolisk had to lose in some fashion, and quite frankly, having Pikachu beat Heliolisk as a last resort wouldn't have made any sense. So let's get into the final battle here. Well, the final Pokemon at Clemont. So let's talk with Halucha versus Luxray. Everything made sense. It made sense that Halucha didn't do very well. So yeah, so it lost, you know, and then Pikachu didn't really do anything, and that makes perfect sense. You know, Luxray is a very strong Pokemon, so beating Pikachu and Halucha on its moves actually makes a lot of sense, you know? So that's why they didn't really get to do very much against Luxray. Now, the battle with Luxray versus Goodra. Now, I neglected to say this before because I forgot, well, I didn't really forget, I just forgot to mention it. But anyway, Heliolisk used Thunder Wave on Goodra, making it even slower. So the interesting thing about here is when Goodra actually was sent out against Luxray, it actually used Rain Dance, which canceled out Thunder Wave being paralyzed, basically, even though I'm not really sure that should actually happen. I really don't know what Hydration is. But, yep, that was the move that was revealed for Goodra, was in fact Hydration. I would not have preferred that be the move that Goodra have, but I'm going to have to look up Goodra real quick to see which move that I would have preferred. I don't think it would have been Sticky, but might have been Gooey. No, well, maybe Hydration was something. Oh, Sap Sipper. Okay, but that wouldn't have been relevant here. So anyway, so Hydration, that is Goodra's big ability, which, as it says, heals status problems if it is raining. Oh, so it actually does make sense. I thought Hydration was like Rain Dish or whatever, so it actually heals. So that might be a reason why they did that. So that was a really nice touch that's what could happen. So maybe Rain Dance did actually have some relevance in the gym battle. Now, people are going to say, well, why did Gudra do so well? Well, it goes along with Luxray was probably the best Pokemon for Gudra to take on. I mean, Bunnelby probably would have been annihilated if it was against Gudra, but Luxray was a pretty good contender for against Gudra as opposed to Heliolisk. Heliolisk had Dragon Tail and could outspeed Gudra that Gudra probably would have lost easily. A lot of the situations in a lot of animes, the faster your Pokemon, or the faster the character is, the more likely they're going to win. You know, like, I don't want to make this about a non-Pokemon, but for example, in Dragon Ball Z, when Cell reaches perfect form, even though Trunks used a special technique that made him really strong, and he possibly could beat Cell as a result of that strength, Cell was a lot faster, and therefore it overcompensated for the lack of strength. So that's the case here in Pokemon, that usually a faster Pokemon that is kind of strong would probably be a very slow yet very powerful Pokemon. So Luxray, not being as maneuverable or as fast as Heliolisk, has more of a challenge against Gudra. So that's pretty much it outside of the last remaining thing, and that was Ash used Bide to beat Luxray. And I'm a little annoyed here. I would have preferred Bide hitting Luxray just to distract, followed by a Dragon Pulse, because that would have been a little bit better. But this battle is why I don't like it when the anime writers give horrible Pokemon moves to the actual Pokemon. I'm already sick and tired of Ash's Oshawott having 3 water-type moves here, you know? But the point is, Rain Dance, Bide, and Dragon Pulse is not in any way a decent moveset. Now, I realize you could counter that because Gudra won, but for all intents and purposes, it's not a really good moveset. Especially when you consider that Gudra is going to be facing off of Florges very soon in the anime. Rain Dance does no damage whatsoever, and Bide is very conditional that potentially Florges could beat Gudra simply by poisoning by poisoning Gudra. Seriously, that's the thing. Gudra's moveset is so pathetic that a poison fairy Pokemon, if one actually existed, could easily beat Gudra. Easily beat Gudra. I mean, all you have to do is use a toxic attack and just, I don't know, use other moves, you know? You could just sit there and just let Gudra attack, because Dragon Pulse does no damage against a fairy type. So that's why it's a little pathetic, and I thought they would have given it a little bit more, which is why replacing Dragon Breath with Dragon Pulse doesn't make any sense. Now I realize that would have been even a lot more futile against Florges, which is coming up, but at the same time, it would have been at least a little bit different, you know? And that's why I honestly expect Gudra to learn a new move against its battle with Florges, because like I said, Bide is just too conditional that Florges probably could beat Gudra otherwise, because Dragon Pulse is not going to do anything unless they do something about anime-only stuff again, as usual, but Gudra's moveset is lacking. Even though I don't like Hawlucha's, at least Hawlucha can actually do some damage. I mean, it's pathetic against ghost types, but, you know, at least it has a lot more attacking moves than just, say, Karate Chop and Flying Press. There is also High Jump Kick, you know, so yeah, it is a little disappointing to see that Gudra has a pathetic moveset that it's really not going to do very much damage against a Florges, because the only move it can use is Bide. So I do expect Gudra to learn a new move in those 2 episodes, but I'm a little disappointed that Gudra didn't learn these moves prior to now. And I will definitely be especially upset if Gudra only learns Muddy Water. Now, I realize that Florges isn't quite a grass type, but it's good as a grass type because it's pretty much a flower Pokemon. You know, I'm surprised they didn't actually make it a grass type, but since it is a flower Pokemon and it helps grass types immensely based on its pathetic abilities. You know, Florges is my favorite fairy type Pokemon, but the problem is it has horrible abilities that only help other grass Pokemon, you know? Which is ridiculous, you know? But anyway, so this pretty much is like an intensive analysis of the gym battle as far as I can see, as far as I can do it. Like I said, I don't understand the criticisms of the gym battle. I realized that by taking out Luxray was very anticlimactic, because it should have been like an unexpected move, which would have been hilarious. Because I can only imagine people fuming in the comments or the forums. No, Gudra learned a new move during the gym battle. The battle sucks because of it. No, but anyway. So yeah, even though it was that ending shot of Bide hooking or smashing into Luxray for the voltage badge was very anticlimactic and one of the negative aspects of the gym battle. Most of the criticisms about the gym battle does not make any sense because when has Clemont's Pokemon ever been portrayed as being stronger than Ash's Pokemon to the extent that Ash's Pokemon could not have done what they did if there wasn't some sort of favoritism towards Ash, if that's what you believe. So the bias against Ash and a lot of the people who criticize this gym battle is very strong. Because I feel like if you actually looked at it from Clemont's Pokemon and Ash's, you know, see, the thing is, people will still be biased against Ash regardless of the gym battle, even if we've never actually seen the Pokemon in action. For example, if Pikachu beats, I don't know, a Malamar, hypothetically speaking, let's say that Malamar does some serious damage and then Pikachu uses an Iron Tail, Thunderbolt, Volt Tackle, Electro Ball, Quick Attack, combination one attack, knocking out a gym leader's Malamar or a strong trainer's Malamar. Someone will still call the battle cheap in reference to Ash's Pikachu beating that Malamar, even though we've never seen that other trainer's Malamar in action. And that's the problem, you know, even though we've seen Clemont's Pokemon in action before, they haven't been very impressive to say that they should have been able to beat Ash's Pokemon so easily, or that they should have been able to take the moves that they did and survive as opposed to being knocked out. You know, so it's very ridiculous to see these comments that are so obviously biased against Ash. You know, I realize that I'm biased for Ash, you know, because he is my favorite character, but I will still call out what it is, BS, you know? I mean, Ash did struggle in this gym battle because he could have easily lost Gudra to Heliolisk if he didn't recall it. If Gudra was not paralyzed as a result of Thunder Wave and Ash kept Gudra out, Ash probably would have lost his battle if that was the intention of the writers in regards to this gym battle. So, you know, I know Ash can do some ridiculous things, you know. The one thing that I have criticized before, in my reflections at least, of 5th gen is the gym battle against Alessa as well against Roxy. You know, being upset that Ash's Pokemon were being portrayed as weak, or Ash being portrayed as stupid. I mean, incredibly stupid, out of character stupid. But anyway, whatever, I guess we'll have all our favoritisms and bias nature towards them, you know. This gym battle made sense for me. I didn't see anything cheap about Ash's team or whatever, or Clemont's team that I can see outside of the final shot of Bide attacking Luxray for the win was anticlimactic, but outside of that, I was perfectly fine with this gym battle, you know. So maybe you people can tell me in the comment section what you really think the battle why you actually thought the criticisms were actually valid, even though we've never actually seen Clemont's Pokemon being like this. And there have been instances of off-screen training for Ash and his Pokemon, because he actually knows that these Pokemon. Let's even use like 5th gen for, real quick, like Sludge Wave and Aerial Ace in regards to Palpitoad and Crocodile. He didn't just somehow be like, oh, you learned a new move. He actually knew these Pokemon had these moves prior, which means that Ash does do off-screen training. In a lot of instances, I really don't like that, but I have to accept it. The only thing that I don't like in regards to off-screen training is like in regards to Palpitoad and Sludge Wave. I mean, I love that Ash's Palpitoad has Sludge Wave, but it would have been nice to actually see a training episode where Palpitoad actually learned Sludge Wave. But because it would have actually given more episodes to Palpitoad. But otherwise, I really don't care. As long as Ash's Pokemon do not evolve off-screen, like Ash calls Typhlosion, and there's some exposition about how Ash's Quilava evolved, and we just see a quick shot of this evolution into Typhlosion. No, I want to see Ash bringing back his Pokemon if they're going to evolve, and see them evolving. You know, or at the very least, let's have an Oak Lab episode where Quilava evolves or whatever. But anyway, off-screen training does happen, and even though I don't really agree with it, it makes sense that we don't see every little thing because we can't see every little thing. This is not an encyclopedic series. It only does relevant stuff, and some things get cut out, even though it could be relevant. So that's why we don't see this. So Hawlucha's speed makes sense. I mean, Ash's Leavanny powered up, as you can see in the 5th gen, 5th gen league against Stefan. Ash's Leavanny was dodging Sock's attack. From what we've seen, Ash's Leavanny was not that fast, but Ash mentioned that Leavanny did get some super speed training, so it makes sense that there is off-screen training, and therefore, if you have to criticize Ash's Pokemon due to lack of seeing any improvements or seeing this in action and criticizing that it's just coming out of nowhere, then you have to also apply this to Clemont, because Clemont's Luxray is the only Pokemon that we've ever seen that has actually been impressive. I mean, sure, Bunnelby beat Heliolisk, but when we first saw Clemont's Heliolisk, but that could have just been because it was Clemont controlling Bunnelby and Clembot controlling Heliolisk. So then, but otherwise we haven't seen Bunnelby doing anything else impressive, really, that would say that Bunnelby is an impressive Pokemon. Likewise with Heliolisk. Sure, it beat that Magneton, but that was against Black Clembot, you know, so I wouldn't exactly say it's all of that impressive. And the only impressive Pokemon we've ever seen against Clemont is, in fact, Luxray. But then again, hey, Luxray took out Pikachu and Hawlucha. So it has, in fact, shown to be impressive. And it was impressive during the gym battle. So, there we go. I don't want to go anymore. I'm not sure if this is going to be cut at all or whatever. So, I've gone a little too long than I wanted to, but thank you for watching this Pokemon XY anime discussion of the gym battle. I've decided that I'm going to wait until the release of Goodra to do a reflections of 6th gen so far. You know, I'm not going to do it right after the release. I'm probably going to wait like a few days, like maybe the following 2 days or whatever, before I would make a video. But anyway, thank you for watching this particular video. Like I said, comment in this comment section to give me your thoughts about this. So I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.